Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
for
Shannon.
being here and for joining us. And
what a treat.
It's a treat for us to hear from you and to just learn from your experience and your wisdom too. So it's been a pleasure for you to be a part of this project, and so thankful. So
you don't know, but she knows. I've given, I don't know, several hundred, I think, of these books away.
She's taken Becoming to the Philippines, and
yes.
it's made it all around the world, I think, so we're super thankful for that. Can you just kind of share a little bit about what life is like for you and Steve as you're leading Cru and Campus Crusade, is Cru now for those that don't know.
In the U.S. it's Cru.
In the U.S. it's Cru.
We're global, so we're
right.
still Campus Crusade for Christ International, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Some international countries have changed to Cru, but not all by any means.
Okay.
What is it like for us? Well, first of all, it's an incredible privilege. It's very humbling. I always feel totally unworthy to be in the place I am. And our staff around the world are so amazing. And that's kind of the focus of what I do a lot, is love and encourage our staff. I do it by going to be with them, and I do it by speaking. I write things that go to them, and I love them on Facebook.
Yes.
And I have a large Facebook group, friends, because our staff are all over the world. And one of the things that when you're in leadership, you want the people that are part of you to know that they are valued and that they matter. We have a saying in our HR area that's everyone should be known and needed and have a future, and know that they're known and needed and have a future. And so a lot of what I do is at least to take care of the known and the needed, because I try to really encourage them and do that. We travel a lot. I would be happy to never go anywhere again. I would love to just kind of camp out live at a beach house. Not camp. But every time they say, would you come to this group or this conference or this gathering, I go, yes, I will, because I really, truly, God gave me such a love for our staff. My husband is, leading, he's organizing, he's doing that, and he does a lot of speaking. He has a whole lot more energy than I do, and he doesn't stay awake at night thinking about things. And I just say, why can I not catch that? The not staying awake at night thinking about things. But he is a very peaceful person, and yet a very driven person. He's kind of an anomaly in that way. And I've had the privilege for many years of working first with Bill Bright and then also with Vonette, for those of you at First Pres who would know them more or less. And Vonette, of course, died 4 weeks ago. Yes, what's today? On Wednesday. And when Steve became president in 2001, a couple of years into it, I noticed that Vonette still had all this energy and I didn't. And there was this service when they installed him as president that was, the mantle is falling and it's leaving Bill and Vonette and it's coming on Steve and Judy. And I went, good, I think I'll need it. And only the energy mantle didn't come. And so I said to Vonette, Vonette, I didn't get the energy mantle. And she said, well, I still need it. And I went, oh yeah, you do, don't you? And I was really happy because Vonette always loved to do the social things and the dress up things, and this is pretty dressed up for me. And she loved gatherings and meetings and big events and parties. And I'm not so much. And so I said, Vonette, you just need to know I pray all the time for a long life for you because I don't want to do those things. And so now that she's gone to heaven so joyfully, I'm just like, do I have to start doing those things? Oh dear. And I'm waiting for the energy mantle and it still hasn't come. So.
Well, you talk about here about how what we're supposed to do and who we're becoming kind of merge together as we mature. So maybe that's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Since you're still becoming too.
Yeah, that's true. I'm definitely still becoming, but I'm getting a little old not to get some of that energy. But anyway, I'll stop.
Well,
I already warned you
that.
that I don't give short answers.
It's good. Well, I wanted to talk about, because we're talking about purpose, and I think this is something I know that I've personally struggled with, and I think a lot of women do, especially when we're young, of really wondering, what are we supposed to be doing? Lord, how have you gifted me? We talk about that a lot in the church and out in the world. And so there is this sense in which God has his revealed will and his word of, my will is for you to pray and love each other and love me. And then there is his hidden will, which he doesn't just give over, he gives over time when we need it. And so the question is, how do you counsel someone who is become kind of really focused on uncovering kind of that hidden will that God hasn't chosen to reveal yet, either in their life or sometimes it's in the life of somebody they love as well. And so how do we live in the present of God's desires for us, but then looking towards the future? Does that make sense?
Well, we can only live in the present. And so to realize that now is the moment that I have. Now is the week, the year, whatever, the season of life that I'm in. And this is the one I need to be living in. And God's purposes in that time for us are depending somewhat on where we are in the journey and what our length of time is, but he's doing the work of making us like Christ. He's doing the work of opening up and helping us see who he's made us to be, and he has things he wants us to be doing, and those are the things we need to be doing. All of those things are important for now and for the future, because things are never just now and they're never just preparation for the future. They're always both of those things or more. He's got plans that we don't even know of, but he's always working in us and through us right now. And so my daughter, who's about to have her 5th child, when she just had 3 boys, which she had in 3 years, when she was younger, she was not a nice person. She was pretty self-focused and very competitive and just, not always nice to her sister, her younger sister, and very selfish. And so she started growing in college when she started to really walk with God again. And then I watched her with these boys, and I just said, you are so patient and so peaceful. And what happened? And she said, well, God just showed me this is my season for now. And this is what I'm doing right now, is investing in their lives. Has it impacted her life? Totally, it's impacted her life. And so we need to be content. That doesn't mean we don't plan. My husband and I are both big planners, and we think ahead, and we look at that, but at the same time, there's a contentment in where I am right now. And I'm not actually always the most patient, content person. And so the Lord and I have had many conversations about this. And he just says, Judy, slow down, rest in me, be at peace, do what I've put in front of you. And sure enough, he does a work in me. He uses me in the lives of the people that I'm around and talking to. And then he's preparing me for next things that he has for me to do. And so I think the best thing to say is let him do it in his timing, because he's going to.
Yes.
And so,
Right.
and relax in that and be at peace. And then we can rest better and hear better. We got to hear from him. So I hear
you. Judy closes her article by talking about Obed, who was over the camels. Can you just give us a little peek into
love that
because
story.
I love how you ended that as well.
Obed, yeah, only mention of him in the scripture is in this one little passage. And there are a lot of named people in scripture. There are kings and prophets and bad guys and good ones, and some women who have been, the ones who are in the line of Jesus, what a miracle. The kind of women that are in the line of Jesus. And so there are these people who have played significant roles, both for the development and the growth of the kingdom and for not the ones who came against. So there's names, and that's history. It's full of the names of people who did things. But for some reason, Obed is mentioned. And all it says about Obed was he was there and he was over the camels. Now, if you know anything about camels, they're not nice. They're big, they're smelly, they're obnoxious, they're stubborn, and I marvel that they get them where they can ride them and use them as well as they can. But I would imagine if I were Obed, here I am with the camels again. It's probably much worse than David thinking, his brothers say, you're just the shepherd with the sheep. No, Obed had it worse. He's with the camels. But it was important that Obed did what God gave him to do. So much so he got his name in Scripture. And so some of us will do things that really give us a platform and stage and people know us. And others of us will do what we're doing quietly. But that's just as important. If nobody took care of the camels, then they wouldn't be available when they were needed. And if nobody does this that's needed and this that's needed, then things aren't going to go very well. And so Obed had an important role, and to me it's a great lesson to us that we need to be where God puts us, doing what he gives us to do, even if sometimes we would like a bigger role, and we may have one, we don't know. But that's an unknown other than he took care of the camels.
Yes.
I think that's worse than taking care of babies, for sure.
Well, I think we probably all have seasons where we're over the camels in some sense, and God refines us so much in those times. So
he does, and we don't know what all he did in Obed's life,
right.
But we know Obed did his job.
That's right. Good.
So,
well, Judy, thank you for sharing with us. And
you
being
are
here.
so welcome.
It's been a treat.
And now you get to hear from Carla, who is a good friend of mine.
Yes.
And a very wise woman.
She is.
And I think you're going to enjoy her.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you.
Judy.